What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon, Dwayne. Our good friend Chad. Fred, good afternoon. It's a great day to be a Lion. One pride. Yeah, buddy. Let's get this thing going.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Here's the thing, though. What I've been doing is 3:30 every morning. That's I get up and I do my sprints. Yeah, I mean, those are prime sprinting hours. People don't realize. And that's how I know I'm succeeding, is if I'm doing my sprints while everyone else is asleep. It's a winning mindset is what it is. That's exactly what it is.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna.
What's up, y'all? This is Ifeatu Melifonwu, safety for the Detroit Lions. And I just want to take some time out to give a big shout out to Russell Wayne and Main Event Mike from the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. It's a fan page and a podcast. And I just want to say I appreciate the support of me and my team. And I encourage everyone to go check out their podcast and check out their fan page. Go Lions.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Football Talk with Russell Wayne. I obviously am not Russell Wayne. I am Main Event Mike, your interim host today for the show. Glad to see everyone in the comments. Be sure to click the like button or the heart button or the laugh button or the care button. Just click a button. Okay. And great to see everybody in here. Chad, Dwayne, Fred. Great to see you guys, man. Love this little family we've built here. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Detroit Lions coming off their most incredible season in my lifetime. And I'm old, folks. So that's a very long time. That's what good season it has been for the Detroit Lions in 2023. And of course, we just go on every day and praise Brad Holmes, and we praise Dan Campbell, and we praise the rookies, and we praise even Dan Miller, the play-by-play guy, who I think is the best in the business. I mean, just so many good things going on with this franchise right now for the Detroit Lions. It's like Fred says, it's such a good time to be a Lion. Great day to be a Lion. One pride. Love it. But here's something that we don't talk about. How kind the schedule makers were to us in 2022. The Detroit Lions had a very well laid out schedule, and I cannot wait until they lay out the new schedule for us for the 2024 season. If we look back for just a minute and look at that 2023 season, we opened, of course, in Arrowhead against the Super Bowl champs. What a great time to catch them. It seemed at the time like, oh man, they're going to have so much energy in the stadium. But you know what? They didn't get ready for what was coming. The Detroit Lions were the hungriest team in the NFL all year. Minus 1 week in Baltimore, they were the most competitive team in every game. So I love that we got them in the first week, and I love that we beat them. It's kind of a bummer that the Packers beat them too, so we can never throw that out at them because they go, yeah, we beat them too. And they beat them by more than we did, but you had them at home. But from week one, that victory against the Chiefs, the schedule was just laid out very nicely for us. We only had one game in the first half of the season against a division opponent. So as our division is getting beat up all year long, they got to face the Lions coming down the stretch. And that one game before the halfway point in the season, the Green Bay Packers. We went into Lambeau Field and kicked their beep. They came into Thanksgiving and they kicked our beep for one quarter. The rest of the way, we won the game 16-9, by the way. They love to beat their chest and say, we killed you guys on Thanksgiving. Yeah, that one still hurts, folks. Actually, I think it even hurts more than the 49ers. And why? Because you've got guys like Robert here who are going to give it right back to me and make me eat it by the spoonful. You had a loser schedule. Your schedule will be a winning schedule this time. No more soft schedule. Great call out, Robert. You have just set up my next segment. Thank you, sir. But absolutely, we've got Steve in here too, who says we play the NFC West and AFC South. Again, thank you guys for lobbing up the softball for me, because that's exactly where I'm going. In mid-May, somewhere around mid-May, last year, I believe it was the 10th or the 12th, they released the actual schedule. But we do know who we play, and we know where we play. We just don't know when we play. Chad says turnovers lost us this Thanksgiving game. For sure, Chad. You can't have 3 turnovers in the first half. And, it was 20-6 after the first quarter. We were buried. Jordan Love, though, came down the stretch. And that, in my opinion, folks, is when you really started to see what Jordan Love is. And he showed poise. The Lions made a strong comeback in that second half, but they were able to stave us off and win the game. And it ended up being huge. Dave, FTP, I'm there with you, Dave, but we got to show a little respect to our rivals. So the schedule, as Steve said here, we play the NFC West, which, of course, is the 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, and we play 1 and 4 at away. So we got to play, because 49ers had a better record than us. We got to go to there. We won our division. And like Robert was saying, now that you're the division champion, boy, it sounds good, doesn't it? Now that the Detroit Lions are division champions of the NFC North, boy, that sounds good. Now that you're the champions of the North, there's a price to pay for that. Okay. And that price is, you've got to play a tougher schedule. Last year, the Lions had rated the 11th hardest schedule at the end of the year. At the beginning of the year, it was rated the 5th hardest schedule. But as things play out and injuries take over, when Kirk Cousins went down, we had to play Vikings twice without Kirk Cousins. That made our strength of schedule dropped a bit. So we finished the year ranked 11th in strength of schedule. It won't be that kind this year, folks, like Robert's saying. Okay? You've got to play division winners. As we said, in the NFC West, you got to go to San Francisco. A rematch of the game that ripped out our souls. We've got to play San Francisco again. Boy, wouldn't that be cool if it was the first game of the season? Right? To go immediately back to San Francisco to start the next season. These scheduler makers, they love it. Right? They love this kind of drama. We saw them the very next year schedule Tampa Bay and New England. We saw them right out of the gate last year schedule Denver at Seattle, so Russell Wilson could play against the Seahawks. Interesting stuff. So you got to go back to the Niners. You've also got to play the division winner of of 2 of the other divisions in the conference. That includes the Dallas Cowboys. Back to Dallas again. 3 years in a row, we're going to go back to Dallas, where the Brad Allen, Taylor Decker reporting as eligible or not controversy happened, where Derek Barnes whiffed in the end zone on Dak Prescott, which then allowed him to throw a 92-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb, which became the NFL Honors Play of the Year. I only wonder what would have happened had Derek Barnes not whiffed on the quarterback. If you go back and watch the replay, it's so bizarre. He runs right past him. It's like those dark uniforms and the background color of the end zone, something he'd lost. Which guy it was he was supposed to tackle, because he ran right past him. And then Kindle Vildor jumps 4 feet away from CeeDee Lamb and hits the floor on his belly, and the guy goes completely uncontested for 90 yards. That's the play of the year. Give me a break. Anyway, that drama back again, Dallas and San Francisco, and we got to play them on the road. Okay. You also get your division winner in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a playoff opponent. We got to play them again in Ford Field again. What's going to happen with Baker Mayfield? Doesn't matter. They're going to be hungry for revenge. We're the team that knocked them out of the playoffs. I hope that game is on the back end of the schedule so they don't still have that bad taste in their mouth when they play us next, because that's a pretty tough defense, okay? And if they re-sign Baker Mayfield, I think they got something cooking down there in Tampa. It's a weak division. It's their division to take again. Also, we get a division winner from the AFC, the Buffalo Bills. Great. Josh Allen. He gets to come back into Ford Field for the first time in 2 years since Thanksgiving 2 years ago. What a game that was. An incredible game. The game, even though the Lions lost, many coaches, players, and even our own Russell Wayne pointed to as the turning point for the Lions in 2022. They proceeded to almost win out. They went 8-2 down the stretch that year, and it all started with that loss to Buffalo at Thanksgiving. They got a lot of confidence in that game. They knew they could hang with the best after that game. So that's going to be an interesting one. Josh Allen and the Bills, our neighbors to the east, coming in to Ford Field for a division as a division winner, of the AFC East. And they were left for dead at 6-6, folks. And I bashed Josh Allen, said he was overrated on this very program. I had to come back and take all that back. Josh Allen's a stud. They were left for dead at 6-6, and you watch what he basically single-handedly willed them to the AFC East title until eventually losing to Patrick Mahomes. So Josh Allen's a BA. Don't miss out. We're going to get to see Josh Allen in Ford Field. That's a game I might have to go to. So we also get, as we said, 1-4 from the NFC West. That includes the Arizona Cardinals. We will play them in Arizona. Historically, the Lions have not been good in Arizona. It seems like every time we go out there, we lose. We broke that tradition a couple of years ago. But before that, I think it was like a 5 or 6 year run. Every time we play the Cardinals, the two historically worst franchises in the NFL history, the Detroit Lions and the Cardinals franchise. And we would always lose. But we got to play them. And then we also get the AFC South, like Steve said. We get the entire AFC South. And just like the NFC South, we're going to play the Texans, who won the division. And we're going to play the Colts, who came in second in the division, I believe. And we play them away. And then we're going to get the Jaguars and Titans at our building. I like our chances. Last year, we ran the table on the AFC West, and we ran the table on the NFC South. This year, we get the NFC West and the AFC South. Kind of interesting how that laid out, really. Let's see what do we got here in the comments. Fred says, I seen from some other person that there's possible trade talk about J.C. Horn coming to Detroit. Wow. That sounds like a real rumor. They just signed him, didn't they? Wow. He's from the Los Angeles Chargers, J.C. Horn, come by way of the Carolina Panthers. Man, I don't know about that. A lot of this free agent talk that we're seeing is going to change, right? All these free agent names that are out there, how many are going to be signed by their team? They're going to be staying right where they are, right? Danielle Hunter, a lot of people all hyped about Danielle Hunter coming to Detroit. If you're Kwesi Adolfo-Mensa, do you let him leave Minnesota? I don't think so. Hell, you gave him $16 million a year last year for nothing. You already had him under contract, just gave him $16 million. His agent negotiated a no franchise tag clause. So what did you stand to gain by giving him $16 million? The only thing I can speculate is, look, we're going to give you this money, but when free agency comes, you work with us first. And I don't think that's asking too much. So, I don't want to get twisted. Russ and I, we don't usually look at this stuff yet. We're kind of in that lull, that transition period. Next week, free agency opens up. We're going to be on it hot and heavy, and we'll be looking at all of that stuff. But J.C. Horn, I love that. I love that. We need secondary help. And the free agency market is going to sculpt the landscape for what teams need in the draft. It's going to affect the entire draft order. So mock drafts at this point, kind of redundant, because you might be mocking a team like Detroit to take a secondary player knowing that that's their biggest need. But if we go out in the offseason and sign Emmanuel Mosley and C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Cam Sutton, now all of a sudden you're not drafting cornerbacks with your first-round pick. And you're going to see that not just with the Lions, but all teams. They're going to sign their people in-house. We've already heard Amon-Ra's on the verge of getting a deal done, rumored to be $25 million a year, worth every nickel in my opinion. We don't have to negotiate with him now, but he's earned that. He's earned that extension now. Let's give him some security. He's not making very much money right now, considering as hard as he plays and as well as he plays. He's not making what he's worth now. So let's extend him. I love it. Robert says, I love the added drama effect. I didn't know. Do you mean of my voice or do you mean of the schedule? I don't know. Fred says, I'm not scared. Dallas sucks. We can sell you the blueprint. We own them cow bums. Yeah, but Des Bryant made that catch, and you can't tell me otherwise. Fred says, I ain't scared. I think these Lions are only going to be better and are only going to get more dangerous. I'd take this team lined up over anybody. And I have to agree, Fred. And it's not because our quarterback is better than Patrick Mahomes. That's not why. It's because from the owner all the way down to the guy handing out the Gatorade, they've lined up. And we're expecting great things. Believe me, if we don't win the division this year or even go to the Super Bowl to say that, it's a failure. And when was the last time a Lions team could say that? 1958? 1959 was the last time we could say if we don't go to the Super Bowl or if we don't go to the championship game, it's a failure. So what a good time to be a Lions fan. What a good time to start a Lions podcast. By the way, follow us on Facebook, Lions Villain Squad. You know where it's at. Lions Villain Squad. Okay, I'll put it up. I'm not Russ, but he's way better at this stuff than me. Lions Villain Squad on Facebook. Follow us. Right now, we got 16 people watching and only 8 people have clicked the like button. Please click the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. Russ is gone. He's at rehearsal because he's going to be playing tomorrow night at the world-famous Machine Shop. That's actually Russ right there. He is Maynard James Keenan reborn as the lead singer of Toolology, a really cool band called The 99 is opening up too, by the way. We just want to throw that in there. You know why? Because fuck your kneecaps. That's why. All right. Back at it. Where are we at? Put me back in here. Put me in, coach. How do I get that out? Ah, here I am. Okay. Let's go back to the comments again. What do we got? Oh, boy, we got some good comments. Chad says we're going to open up JMO this year. The North is in trouble. Yeah, it looked like it was getting going at the end, didn't it, Chad? Love it. Steve says, I heard CJG going to Green Bay. What? They could use safety help. Man, CJGJ as a Packer seems like a good fit to me. Seems like a good fit. Him and Quay Walker can have, bipolar discussions in the backfield. It does seem like a good fit to me because of the needs that Green Bay has. They needed safety help last year and never got it. They need safety help this year. I don't know. Russell Wayne made a good point the other day on this very program. Tracy Walker, if you let him go, we've got a nice little safety room going. If you let Tracy Walker go, you save $5 million on the cap. Maybe you turn around and give that money right to CJ. However, Chauncey, smack talking, Dan Campbell asked about it, says, I don't care as long as you don't get a penalty. And then in the championship game, he gets a costly penalty on an interception for just doing that, for just being swaggerish, whatever you want to call it. But I love that call out, Steve. CJGJ, you're a Green Bay fan. Steve, what do you think of that move? How do you like Chauncey, CD Deuce in a Green Bay Packer uniform? Big Dan Davis says, what's your thoughts on the Amon-Ra St. Brown extension at $25 million a year? Good call out, Dan. I think I actually covered that before I realized that you had put that comment in. I think he's worth every nickel. He was an all-pro, okay? Not a Pro Bowler. He was an all-pro. And he's going to get paid like an all-pro. And even at $25 million, he's only going to be like seventh highest paid receiver, sixth highest paid receiver. And then you've got guys like JJ. They want to get this deal done before JJ gets his done. I'll tell you that, because JJ's going to be the highest paid when it's all said and done, topping Tyreek Hill right now. Also, $24,000 a year, $24 million a year. Stephon Diggs, guy's a crybaby. He's probably going to demand more money. So I love it. Let's get him done at $25 million. See, what you can't have, though, Dan, is you can't have two of those guys. That's why T. Higgins is not going to be in Cincinnati this year. That's why Jalen Waddle won't be in Miami much longer. This is why Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown, one of them is not going to be in Philadelphia, because you can't pay two wide receivers $50 million. It's just too much of your salary cap. And then you're giving your franchise quarterback $50 million. Now you're at $150 million. That's over half. That's almost half of your salary cap in three players. You just can't do it. What you've got to have is a number one that you're paying, a number two and three that are friendly to the salary cap, but are still good players. And then you've got a window to make a run with it set up that way. Look at the Rams. They're paying Cooper Kupp, but Puka Nakua's on a rookie deal. And he's proved to be just as good as Jalen Waddle and just as good as Devontae Smith. So the Rams are in a great situation there. With the Lions, I just don't think J-Mo, that's what he was supposed to be. But it hasn't come to fruition yet. He's not that number two who could be a number one on another team, right? That's why you see CeeDee Lamb in Dallas. The other guys are, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup. So you've got a window there when you've hit on two-star receivers. You got to get one of them locked up, and I think Amon-Ra is the way to go for that. So thanks for the comment, Dan. Great to see you in here. Robert says, keep Danielle Hunter, get rid of the diva JJ. Well, it's a great call. Like we were just saying, you can't pay JJ and Jordan Addison. You can pay JJ now because you've got Jordan Addison as that other number two, like we talked about, who could be a number one on someone else's team. But you've got him on the cheap to go with JJ. But Danielle Hunter, again, that's the bag. And you're in a bad situation at the quarterback situation, Minnesota. You see, the quarterback position is where it starts and where it ends. Because if you get a quarterback on a cheap deal, a rookie deal, if you're developing a rookie quarterback, you've got money for 4 years to put other places. If you are like the Vikings and you're going to bring in a veteran, if you're like Atlanta and you're going to bring in a veteran, you're going to pay from jump. You don't get that time to be able to plug other holes with the money because you're going to be paying right off the rip for your veteran established quarterback to come in. And that's where Minnesota's at. So they're going to have to pay a veteran, whether that's Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson or whoever it is. They're going to have to pay him. And you're going to have to pay JJ. And he already said, I'm going to break the bank. That scares me. Mike, if Amon-Ra came out and said, yeah, I'm going to break the bank, I'm like, that would scare me. And it makes me think that Brad Holmes would never draft a guy that would say that. That's like the whole thing, right? That's the Brad Holmes guy thing. I'm not going to draft guys with that mentality that I'm going to break the bank. I'm not saying don't get what you're worth, but to have that, it's the very top or nothing for my paycheck. That's a tough one for me. But yeah, Robert says, get rid of that diva JJ. Robert, if JJ was going to come to your team, you'd be all for it. You know it. He's probably going to go somewhere, but where could he go? Where could JJ go? I mean, who has Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh has Deontay Johnson. George Pickens on a rookie deal. They could pay him, but Pittsburgh's notorious for not paying dudes. Where else could JJ go? New England Patriots. They don't have any real receivers out there. They got Mac Jones on a rookie deal, and they're about to jettison him, about to get another rookie quarterback to develop to go along with their new coach. So I think New England sounds like a good spot. Put it in the comments. Tell me what you think. Chad says, I seen Fields to Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's a rumor. Now you've got Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator, replacing Matt Canada in Pittsburgh. He's run. Makes sense to get Justin Fields, in my opinion. People love his leadership. They love his character makeup, which is something that Mike Tomlin's big about. And as I think about it, I can see this. I can see Justin Fields going to Pittsburgh. But now you're in that situation. Justin Fields can't get a bag, okay? He can't. He can't go in and get top dollar. He can't get like Kirk Cousins money can coming into a new team. He can do better than he's doing now. He can do better than the fifth-year option. Maybe a 2-year deal. Have you given up on Kenny Pickett completely? He was a first-round draft pick. The first time you drafted a quarterback in the first round in forever. You just give up on Kenny Pickett? It's hard to believe. I guarantee you this. They released Mitchell Trubisky the other day. Mason Rudolph has already indicated that he wants out of Pittsburgh. He thinks he can get a starting job somewhere. He can't. Justin Fields looks good in black and gold to me. I like it. Let's not get into the Bears, what the Bears are going to do. Let's not even go there today. Because we know the Bears, I'm telling you right now, they're going to draft a quarterback. No way they're keeping Justin Fields. If they do, they're still drafting a quarterback in the first round. So I think they have to. Fred says, CJ, GJ, y'all can have him. I don't know. What he brings to the defense, though, is not only great play, but also that intangible in the locker room. Guys feed off him. I don't like that. Steve, you don't want him in Green Bay. Interesting. All right. What do we got here? Detroit Fan Man. He says, I don't know. I don't think the Gatorade Distribution Associate shows that. Man. You know what? Dan Campbell said, look, man, if you're not going to give out Gatorade like a pro, I don't even want you here. Ken Fisher says, Lions, one of the top 3 in Vegas for the Super Bowl. Love it. Super Bowl is in the Superdome, Fred. Coincidence? How about Dan Campbell going to the Super Bowl and returning to New Orleans to win that Super Bowl? Love it. Can't write the script any better with Jamal Williams on the side watching. Go Lions, Cesar. Thank you, Cesar. 3rd in St. Brown. First down, St. Brown. 25 mil. I like it. JJ to the Houston Texans. Wow. Great call, Chad. Nico Collins emerged as a number 1. But do we really see him as a real number 1? I don't think so. You get JJ getting passes from CJ, it's going to be a TD. I mean, CJ can sling it, and JJ can go up and get it. I think I love this call, Chad. I love it. Justin Jefferson to the Bears. Would the Bears be? I don't know. They're not paying DJ Moore that big money. He's not on the cheap either, but he's not getting paid that giant money. You might be able to do that. They have cap room. JJ to the Bears, but who wants to play on that parking lot of Soldier Field? Ugh. I can see Fields in Seattle. Justin Fields in Seattle. Great running game. Kenneth Walker, great outside receivers. That team's good all the way around. Geno Smith gets $12 million today, by the way. His bonus kicks in today. The Seahawks announced yesterday they were going to retain him. Now he's got until March 17th, where he'll be guaranteed another $9 million if he's still on the team March 16th. I love this. I love free agency and how they set these all ahead of the draft. It really shapes up what's happening in the draft for us as fans and for the front office staff as well. I could see Fields in Seattle. I'm going to chew on that one, Facebook user. I don't know. Fred says, oh boy, Chicago takes Marvin Harrison first pick, then trades the other first round for JJ to the Vikings. Then they've got Marvin Harrison, DJ Moore, and JJ, Fred. Who's going to throw him the ball? I don't know about that one. Any numbers on Goff signing? No. In fact, I haven't even heard the discussions have started yet. If you have, please put it in the comments. We'd love to hear that. JJ's on the last year of his contract, correct? That's right. They can actually pick up his 5th-year option next year. He's going into year 4. Now, this is the time. They don't have to. They don't have to give him the bag. They can always pick up that 5th-year option. I think they can franchise tag him after that too, right? So if you franchise him, he gets top 5. That's still going to save you money. You'd save money by franchise tagging him. A lot like what we were seeing with the Saquon Barkley situation last offseason. All right. Well, that's some great comments, guys. Thanks, everybody. Put it in the comments. Tell us what you think about this schedule. Any of the games on this schedule concern you? At the Niners, at the Cowboys, at the Colts. Anthony Richardson, will he be healthy? Will that guy ever be healthy? The way he's going to play, his immaturity, his inexperience. It's a tough, tough position, folks, to play it that way. Ask RG3. We got to play away at the Texans. Remember the last time CJ Stroud beat Aiden Hutchinson? Oh, yeah, that never happened. Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray coming back. They got Jonathan Gannon now as their head coach, former coordinator for the Eagles. They have a lot of draft picks too. Arizona's going to be a much better team. If they hit in the draft, they're set up for the next couple of years to really get it going. And then, of course, we play the division, Bears, Packers, Vikings, once away, once at home. Everybody knows that. That's 6 games. Here's an interesting thing about this schedule. We'll play 9 home games and 8 away games, but one of those home games will be overseas. I believe the Lions are going to be in Germany. We don't know the opponent yet, but we are going to play. How do you feel about getting up at 9:30? Get 9:30 football at 9 a.m. We'll have a breakfast buffet in the Lions Den. Be interesting. I can't wait for them to lay it out. When they lay out the schedule for me, it's one of my favorite days of the year in the NFL because all of the different scenarios that you can break it down. Oh, wow, we got to play Dallas and 49ers back to back. And then Matt Stafford comes to Ford Field in a 3-game stretch. That's what made last year so awesome. The toughest 5-game stretch for the Detroit Lions last year was in the first 5 games of the season. We had to play in Lambeau, in Arrowhead. We had Seattle coming in, who was a playoff team last year. We came out of that stretch 4-1. That really made me feel good about the Lions' chances at that point when you look then at how the schedule laid out. I can't wait for this to come. Home games. As we said, Matt Stafford coming back. You think Kelly will bring the kids? Hey, Kelly, leave the kids at home. We will start a GoFundMe for you to get a press box to bring them to if you have to bring them to the game. Oh, I paraded my kids through a room full of rabid dogs, and one of them got bit. Wow. You think they were booing your kids? Come on, nobody's booing a little kid. Okay? If there's one guy booing a little kid, the other guy's probably going to knock him out next to him in Detroit. Okay? Stop it. Don't bring your kids this time, Kelly. Why don't you just stay on the West Coast, Kelly? Rams coming to Ford Field again. Where will they put that on the schedule? Won't that be interesting? We got to play the Bucks, Rams, and Niners again. And if we're going to make it to the Super Bowl, we're going to have to play at least one of those teams again after that. Man, it's going to be so drama-filled. The NFL's really built their product up, man. You like Roger Goodell, or hate Roger Goodell, you can't deny the job of marketing he has done. You've got free agency. You've got the schedule release. You've got the combine. You've got the draft. And before you know it, it's OTAs. It's a 365-day model. And we're going to be here at the Main Event 365, 365 days a year, bringing you content. Don't forget, Smokin' Jeremy B is on this network right here, wherever you're watching it right now. You can watch Smokin' Jeremy B at 11 a.m. That's weekday mornings at 11 a.m. Smokin' Jeremy B and Von Doom doing some good football talk every morning at 11. And then football talk with Russell Wayne, 3 o'clock on weekdays right here. I'm Main Event Mike filling in for him. Okay, what do we got in the? Let's go back to the comments now. They won't draft. Kevin says they won't draft Harrison first overall. Cheaper not to be the number one pick. Right. But if there is a wide receiver that you're going to draft number one, they would have drafted Calvin Johnson number one, by the way, instead of number two. They would have drafted Calvin Johnson number one. Everybody said that was too high. Well, gold jacket now. If there's a guy you're going to draft number one, this kid looks like it, right? Got the pedigree, Hall of Fame father, and, plays in a pro-style offense at that school in Columbus. He makes all the catches. He makes bad quarterbacks look good. His catch radius is ridiculous. His route running is impeccable. Even if you don't keep Justin Fields, I'm not going to hate on you if you take this kid number one. Lock him up there in Chicago. DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Marvin Harrison. How you like that for a trio? You still got the number 9 pick. You won't get Caleb Williams. You may not get Drake May. But you can get a left tackle at 9. Okay? And you can also get Michael Penix in the second round or J.J. McCarthy in the second round. You've got Tyson Bagent, who looked like a serviceable backup. You can trade Justin Fields for what? Maybe a second round pick? Nobody's going to give you a first for Justin Fields. I'm sorry. If you think so, I don't hate on you. But in my opinion, nobody's giving up a first for Justin Fields. He's worthy of a second rounder, for sure. The kid's uber talented. He's a freak when it comes to athleticism. He's amazing. It's just not working. Okay. And there was talks about Justin Fields going to the Raiders. Well, they hired Luke Getsy. So I'm probably not going to happen unless Justin Fields loved Luke Getsy. And maybe that's the precursor to the Raiders trying to acquire Justin Fields. They've got Aiden O'Connell, who showed some promise last year as a rookie, developmental guy. But are they there with their quarterback in Las Vegas? No. Justin Fields might be a working option there for the Las Vegas Raiders. Ken, you're predicting 13-4 for the Lions? I love it. I love that. That's something we could do here. If I had the graphic to put it up, we would do that. We would go through, tell us what you think by looking at that list. I'll read them to you now here in case you're taking notes like a good student, like you're supposed to. Our home games: Bears, Vikings, Packers, Rams, Seahawks, Jaguars, Titans, Bucks, Bills. Away games: Bears, Vikings, Packers, Cardinals, Texans, Colts, 49ers, Cowboys. Put it in the comments if you could keep up with that, and you can predict like Ken did, who predicted 13-4. Fred says Fields will throw the ball with DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, JJ, and Justin Jefferson. Fields would be the best quarterback in the league. And all he has to do is throw the ball up like some kid hitting the X button every time on Madden. Right. So when I said, well, who's going to throw the ball? You're saying it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball when you've got DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, and Justin Jefferson. Where are my Bear fans? I think we ran them all off. I was mean to them, and I was rude, and I apologized. But, you apologize sometimes. It's just when it comes to your fandom and you're like me and you take it real serious, sometimes an apology isn't enough. So if you're a Bears fan, what do you think of this call out from Fred? You get JJ, and then you've got the best trio in hands down in the league at wide receiver, and Cole Kmet, a frontline tight end for sure. Chad says schedule's tough for the Lions, but it looks like the Packers schedule is a maximum of 9 wins. Well, I don't know about that, Chad. It's the same schedule as us, just jumbled up a little bit. The home and away is a little different. Other than that, it's essentially the same. I think there's one, while we play Dallas, they'll play Philly. So it's a trade-off. Facebook user says, I love 9 a.m. football. That's why they invented ESPN Classic. Ken says the NFL needs to stay in America. I don't know, global popularity. You know how much of a thrill I get out of it when I'm scrolling through and I see a Lions group from England, or you have a Lions fan in your chat from Scotland or Germany. It's pretty cool, man. And for these people that do go overseas, like our friend Rob Haspels from the Vikings groups, the VWO, he goes over and meets with all these Viking fans in Germany, and they stay a week and they have a ball. I think it's awesome. It's a global product. Is it, is it part of globalism? Nah, I don't think so. That's too political for football. Fred says, I'm awake already. Just means I'm going to start drinking Bloody Marys a bit earlier. Nice. Detroit Fan Man says, I booed the kids. Nice. Eric says, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, Aaron, what you're saying is don't shy away from that tough schedule. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, and you know what? That's the attitude Dan Campbell and these players have in Detroit. I can't speak for the Packers or the Bears or the Vikings fans, but we feel pretty confident that that's the attitude we have. When it was announced that we were going to San Francisco, Dan Campbell said, good. That's what we wanted. We want that. When they announced that the Lions were going to play the Chiefs in game 1 of the season, they said, good. That's what we want. That iron sharpens iron, and that's how you rise to the top, by facing adversity and overcoming adversity. They made it to the title game, and they were one half of football away from the Super Bowl. That's going to be motivation, not degradation. Degradation. Stafford will get a warm welcome for a regular season game. Yeah, sure he will. No way. Go Blue. Nobody's giving up a first for Justin Fields. I got a feeling someone will, because it's not totally his fault in Chicago. That's true. It's not totally his fault that they're calling 5-yard pass plays and counting more to make a play. Hey, everybody, please welcome to the program. It's Russell Wayne.
What's up? Can you hear me? What's up? What's happening?
We can hear you.
Yay. Feels good. Feels good. What a great practice today, man. It felt great in there. It's going to be a fun show tomorrow night.
Yeah, I gave it a nice plug. We'll put that banner up one more time. If you happen to be in the mid-Michigan area, be sure to check out Russell Wayne as Maynard James Keenan in the #1 Toolology tribute in the land. And it is Toolology, the #1 tool tribute in the land, with a really cool opening act called the 99 and Retooled also. I didn't want to say that.
It's Russell Wayne Keenan tomorrow.
Russell Wayne Keenan. No, if you've never seen it, it is pretty amazing. Russ is amazing. So that's going to be tomorrow night at the world famous machine shop in Flint, Michigan, if you happen to be near there anywhere.
So what are we talking about today, Mike? I mean,
we're talking about the opponents that have been announced for the Detroit Lions, for the schedule, the away and the home games, the teams that will be playing at home and away. And we're kind of just talking about the way the schedule lays out for them. And we're kind of mixing that in with the comments as well. I've asked them to predict but just naming these teams pre-draft, way too early. What do you kind of first prediction, first glance? What are you looking at the Lions record to be as they go through this schedule, even though they haven't laid out the schedule yet? We got Carol who says, aloha. One pride. Carol, welcome to the show. Joseph says, throwing windows in the NFL are small, have to be accurate as hell. Right. So Marvin Harrison makes those subpar quarterbacks in Ohio State look good. Can he do the same thing for Justin Fields if they draft him? Chad says he thinks the Lions go 11-6 and win the division. But Russell will throw you up a softball here, okay?
Okay.
You ready? The Detroit Lions have to go back to San Francisco this coming year, excuse me. And they got to go back to Dallas. We also have to play the Rams and the Bucks in our building again. Are we having a deja vu of last year? And tell me, what would it be like if that first game, the schedule makers make it the first game of the year in San Francisco?
I think that would be smart booking. I mean, I would love to do that. First game of the year, you go out there, rematch of the NFC Championship. I really like where the Lions are at. I'm not really scared of any of these teams anymore. They can go ahead and get good. They can go ahead and do whatever they're going to do because we're going to get good. We're going to get better. We got a great core. I'm not scared of any of these things. I like the call of one less on the win, even though our team is better, because our schedule did lay out nice last year. We did get to play some teams, got some teams at the right time, and we were relatively healthy for the most part. So I could see us being a better team and finishing with a little bit less of a record. I probably will predict 11 or 12 wins regardless of what it is.
Right. And that's what I did say too to the viewers, is that once they release the schedule and we see when and how it's laid out, that's when we'll make our predictions on the record. But this is just a first glance. And I like what Fred is saying here. We could win every game at home and away. At the 49ers would be the most difficult. He's going to go to Chicago for that game to watch the Lions play the Bears. It's about the same distance to Detroit for him. But yeah, this team could absolutely win every game. It's very unlikely. It's very hard to do in the NFL.
No, I mean, you don't think that, but that's nice to have for once. We're usually looking at, let's look at these losses on the schedule. I'm not going to look and see any losses on the schedule next year. We'll lose some games, but I ain't going to find them right off the get-go and say, oh, that's going to be a loss. No, you got to play us.
Well, we did last year, though. Last year we looked and we penciled in, that Dallas game as a potential loss. We also did that for the Chargers.
Yep.
And Kansas City. So, I mean, you're saying you're not going to do that now?
I won't do that now. I mean, I'm not going to say that's going to be a loss. I'm going to use words like, hey, we might lose that game, but there's no L's on there. That is just, that's an L.
But here's the thing, Russ. That the chances of them going undefeated are so astronomical that you've got to put an L somewhere in the interest of trying to be accurate.
Correct. Right. And I get that. But the mentality has changed, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Is you're looking at that, and yeah, you may think here's some games that we're going to lose. Well, I'm going to call the Green Bay away game a loss next year. I probably will do that. I'm going to give you a spoiler alert just because of the reason that you're talking about right now. Is you got to throw the losses in somewhere, and it's hard to sweep a team in your division. That's hard to do. So yeah, splitting down the middle. There you go. There's 3 losses. We got 1 in the division. We'll go 3-3.
All right.
Yeah.
So actually the Lions 9-3 in the last 2 seasons in the division.
Right. But if I have to find losses because I can't justify them because teams aren't better than us anymore, that's how I'll probably do it.
Yeah. And you can't, and like what Jordan's saying here too, we don't even know who will be on the team, so we're not ready for predictions yet. Absolutely. This is just a first glance, and it's fun to look at the schedule, and it's fun to look at the teams and look forward to the teams and kind of even try to pick out what game you'd like to go to, right? Who would you like to see at home? You want to go to see Matt Stafford? You want to go see Geno Smith? How about Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
How about Will Levis?
Line is not as big.
I think I want to go see Josh Allen. We're going to play Buffalo at home. I talked about it before you got on, that's going to be a great game.
Is that the one we're going to, Mike?
We should go to that game, bro.
Let's go to the Buffalo game.
Let's go see Josh Allen. Let's do that.
Put that in the comments. What game do you want to go with me and Mike to? We'll meet you at the gate and have some fun. We'll drink some beers.
Right on. Dad says I'll be at the Niners game. All right, man.
Thanks, Dads.
Out in Frisco. Oh, he's from Cali. That's why. Well, welcome to the program, Dads. Glad to have a Lions fan on the West Coast. See, that's why we moved the show to 3:00.
Yeah,
because we wanted Jeremy B in the morning, and then we had some West Coast fans that could never catch the show. So don't forget, Dads, we're here every day at 3 p.m. on the weekdays. Aaron says, I'm in Montana. Wish I lived closer. If they played in Denver, I'd go.
Yeah, I gotta get better.
Montana,
I
so
gotta get some
beautiful
of them
there.
links out.
I've been to Montana. It's just gorgeous there. So
moving to Montana soon.
Very underrated.
Gonna be a dental floss tycoon.
I promise, folks, if you go tomorrow, it'll be better than that.
What, you hating on Zappa now? Okay.
No, it's just you're singing of it. Chad says,
Okay.
watch Buffalo be on the Thanksgiving gay game. I said gay game. Thanks.
You stuttered.
I said Thanksgiving gay. Thanksgiving Day game again. I hope not. I don't want to miss out on my own cooking. Aaron says, I think it'll be the Bills. That'll be the most exciting game to go to. I love this. Henry says, I'm not going to be able to see the Lions play in person until they play the Raiders in Vegas, whenever that might be. Yeah. I don't know, Henry. We could do a GoFundMe, bro, and bring you to Ford Field. We could do that. We could make it happen. In fact, if some of you would join our Patreon, we might be able to get it happen sooner rather than later. It's Patreon.com/Villain Squad. If you'd like to donate and be the coolest kid on the block. And don't forget, now's the best time to buy NFL gear. And you could do that by clicking the link that's right down in the comments. Isn't it in the comments?
Yeah, it should be.
It's in the comments. It's our link to NFL Shop. And if you use our link, you get 25% off. It helps our page a little bit if you use our link, but we're not here to sell stuff. But now's the best time to buy your NFL gear in the offseason. You could buy yourself a Chicago Bears Caleb Williams jersey. Steve says Packers are going to be exciting this year. You're darn right they are, Steve. Youngest team in the league, a true frontline quarterback who's proved he's a frontline quarterback leading the way. Nothing but young weapons around him that are going to grow with him. They're not going to be exciting just this year. Packers are going to be exciting for the foreseeable future, okay? They've got, don't they have more draft picks than anyone too, by the way?
Yeah, but Chicago definitely has more exciting draft picks, you know.
Ooh, yeah, but
I mean, they do. I think the Packers, we talked about this yesterday on yesterday's program. The Packers, I think, are set up the second best. I mean, I really do believe in the Lions being the best team in the division, and we are the team to beat in that. But the Packers are right there, man. They got a young team that they can, just draft the future. They got that. They should have a little bit of money, but I didn't see it on Over the Cap. But they should have some money.
Chad says the Packers are in cap hell. Not true, because they don't have to pay a quarterback. All they got to do is sign their rookie class. They probably won't even. When does Green Bay ever bring in a big splash free agent? I mean,
well, right now, Over the Cap does show them at $2 million over the cap. I mean,
okay, but that's nothing in the NFL.
They'll
get that worked out. They'll sign their rookies, and they're still going to be exciting, Chad. That's what we're saying. They're going to be an exciting team. The Packers are going to contend for this division. It's not going to be a cakewalk. Like Dan Campbell said, you know what? Everyone in our division is going to get better too. Okay, they're going to reload.
Yeah, last year, don't you remember? I think it was the Vikings were like $17 million over the cap, and we were making fun of them. Then all of a sudden, they were under the cap, and then they ended up signing Danielle Hunter after that. So it's just like, this is a real myth here. I understand the people that say that the salary cap is a myth, because, I mean, you can do so much with it. It's like the Lions have $46 million. Well, they'll stretch the crap out of that, just like they did last year. You remember last year when they had like $17 million? They signed 3 guys, and when they were done signing the 3 guys, they had $24 million when they were done.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on. Not even a guideline anymore.
Jordan says, how many primetime games do you think the Lions will play this season, Russell?
5.
I think they're going to be slated for 4, and then there'll be a couple of flex games that will get flexed, and it'll be 6.
It'll end up being 6?
Correct, because you got to automatically count Thanksgiving too as primetime, even though it's an early game.
I like that call. That's a good one.
I think they'll slate 4 of them, and then they'll flex possibly even 3 more. Because coming down this, that's why I love it. I love the schedule release. Russ and I will sit there and mull it over for a couple of hours on the telephone. Oh, and then we've got to play 3 in a row against 2 on the road and break it all down. It's so much fun. I love looking at it. And that's what we've been talking about this whole time. Since you've been gone today. Since you've been gone.
Yesterday you didn't get a chance to talk about some of these guys, but I did bring a couple of these guys that were available in free agency that I thought that would fit well with us. And I was thinking that the Lions, with as much cap as they have, that they're probably going to make one splash signing. They have enough money to do it. So I was just kind of throwing that out there. What would be the splash? You know, Daquan Jones is a guy that I thought was interesting because Terrell Williams, the new defensive line coach, coached him at Tennessee, and that would be a beast right in the middle right there with Aleem. And then this is somebody you and I talked about right here. I think they could end up getting Stephon Gilmore cheaper than, you know, because we're competing for a title, and he's a little bit older. So I was looking at that, you know. And then there's this is a guy that Awuzie, somebody that Jeremy B likes a lot, and that would be a good free agent signing. Where's that other one? The other one that I had was your boy Brian Burns. Is he in there? No, hold on a second.
Yeah, Brian Burns again. But like we said at the beginning of this program today, that some of these free agents aren't leaving the team they're at. Just because they're free agents don't mean they're going to hit the market. Some of these players are going to get locked up by their teams. They're not going to let them hit the free agent market.
Right. And that's why I chose these guys, because like I didn't put a guy like Snead up for that reason. You know, Snead's probably going to get kept by the, Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
Jalen Johnson's probably not going to leave Chicago.
Right. Danielle Hunter even.
Right. Yeah, well, they have the reason I think Danielle Hunter is more feasible is because they got JJ. They got a lot of money.
Right. We talked about that at length, actually, about how they're going to have to pay a quarterback, whether that's Kirk Cousins or unless they draft a quarterback and are playing a young guy on the cheap. The only way they're going to be able to pay JJ and Danielle Hunter. So that right. means they're not looking to win now if they do that.
Well, but the problem is with that, because when you look at their over the cap, the way they structured, and this is the part we were making fun of last year, Mike, was Danielle Hunter is going to cost them like $14 million this year.
According to Chad, it's going to be $22.50, $22 million.
And that's with him leaving. Like, that's with him not on the team. If they pay him, they're going to have to give him salary on top of that. But and the same thing with Cousins. They moved dead cap. You talked about it last year, how it was dumb to only be a 1-year deal because they were spreading the cap over 2 years, and they're paying for half of it this year. Same thing with Cousins. They're paying for Cousins whether he's on the team or not. So when
it comes to free agent wish list for the Detroit Lions, it's Danielle Hunter all the way for me. You put him on the other end of Hutch. Oh, my gosh, on the end of that line with Aleem McNeil in the middle. It's going to wreak havoc on everyone. And then this happens to be the deepest secondary draft in 10 years, they said. So there's a lot of picks that the Lions could pick out in that secondary and the cornerbacks, safeties, nickel corners. Guys that they can Swiss Army knife types that they seem to love. They love length as well.
I wonder what they're going to do, man. Because the other thing that was brought up too, this is one of those things. Let me find them in here. Was Amon-Ra St. Brown? They were talking about his contract being like $25 million per year. What do you think about that number?
Yeah, we talked about that too at length today as well.
Oh, okay. I don't have to drop it up again. I just had a cool little graphic for it.
And you got it. What do you think of it's what I want to know?
I mean, the thing is like it's that person's turn, right? And this is something that I talked about when Stafford was here and they re-signed him, and there was a lot of talk out there that it was how are you going to pay him like a top 5 quarterback when he's not? And I'm like, well, because it's his turn.
Mhm.
It just happens that this is where the market's at. Well, right now, the market is actually more than that. They're saying that Justin Jefferson and these other guys want 30. So if he comes in for 25 million, I actually like the deal, you know.
That's essentially what we said too, as well. Just like that was worth
You
every
know-
penny of that. And if you wait any longer, the number's going to go up.
Right, lock it in.
Lock
Sign
it
him
in.
a 7-year deal, you know.
Detroit Fan Man says, in all seriousness, my free agent prize is Bryce Huff. He's a linebacker, though, isn't he, Detroit Fan Man? We're set at linebacker. 25 years old, third highest pass rush win rate in the whole league. The Jets are not keeping him. Save money on some older rushers like Danielle Hunter. Is Bryce Huff he's not a defensive end, though, is he? He's not an interior defensive lineman either. He's a 3-4 jack linebacker, I thought. I could be
that
wrong.
might be. I mean, if we were going to do a scheme change, I would like that.
Yeah, and I like where you're going with it. You get a guy who's got a lot of upside, who's going to save you some money as opposed to a proven commodity like Danielle Hunter that you know you're going to pay for. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be the right fit on the team too. I mean, it needs to be the right positional fit.
And and when it comes to a guy like Danielle Hunter, this is not a long-term deal. This is a guy in the prime of his career. You bring him in here on a 1 or 2 year deal, maybe backload it with a couple of them garbage years, you know, the write-off years, and then you compete with him for 2 years, because in 2 years you're gonna have to pay Hutchinson, you know. But,
Joseph says Amon-Ra is one of the best players in the NFL, no matter the position. So darn right. I agree with that.
Yeah, you don't let guys like, I mean, when it comes to like the Minnesota Vikings, you don't let a guy like JJ get out of the building. Amon-Ra St. Brown, same thing. You know, he's one of the best wide receivers in the league. You don't let him leave the building.
How about this How about this call from Chad? Lions trade back from 29. They trade back and draft 2 corners in the second round. Forget the free agent corners and go get Danielle Hunter at all costs. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Don't forget free agent corners, because veteran leadership can't be understated, Chad, especially for a team that's looking to make a Super Bowl run. And that is the caveat. That is why you can attract those players. That's why they might take less money to come here, because you're looking at a possible Super Bowl run.
And you might be able to get 2 big free agents too. One of them on a short-term 1 year, prove it, I want to win a Super Bowl deal. And the other one on a little deal. You know, you can get these guys on short, like Chauncey Gardner last year. You got him on a discount because he wanted to come here and stick at the Philadelphia, you know. There's going to be that version of that guy. I think it's going to be Danielle Hunter. I think Danielle Hunter is going to come here. They're going to get him. That's my big hot take, right?
You did say that the other day. You said, I got a gut feeling it's going to be Danielle Hunter.
He's just the Dan Campbell guy. You know, he's that beast, that motor that doesn't stop, having one on both of your bookends. Like, dude, I mean, don't even worry about it for 2 years, you know?
And here's a good point by Jordan. Maybe we'll find out that the Canadian football guy more than fills the need for a pass rusher, so there's no need to spend big money on Danielle Hunter or any free agent for that matter.
We're going to find out.
Maybe this Matthew Betts, the defensive player of the year in the Canadian Football League. Look, the defensive player of the year, that's Myles Garrett in Canada. That might be the guy. And that's going to shape how you draft. Fred says cornerback position is also one of the biggest learning curves coming into the NFL. Good point.
Right.
Rarely does a rookie CB come out playing like Witherspoon or Sauce Gardner. Great call out. Or Brian Branch.
You know, and coming in at 29 too, you know.
Right. But you know, we had somebody in the comments here said, wouldn't be surprised if Brad Holmes traded up. If there's a guy they like, man, because like you've said many times, Russ, where's people going to fit on this team? Who are you going to kick off the team?
Right.
To make room for incoming talent. I mean, this roster is getting thicker and thicker, man. You
Right.
better be a badass to make this team. Like Brad Holmes said, not everyone can play for the Detroit Lions. Wow. What a change
Isn't that
that
awesome?
is.
What an awesome statement that
It
is.
is. He goes, look, not everyone can play for the Detroit Lions. Woo!
And here's the thing: all those restricted free agent and special free agent guys that we could sign, all those guys that we could get for like a bag of chips. So our roster could be full right now. There isn't room on our roster right now because they can keep all of those guys from last year, and the core of the team of the starters are signed to long-term rookie deals. You know, so the core is pretty much set here in Detroit. So yeah, I like the trade up idea. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, Mike, where it was like I had a gut feeling that Brad Holmes was going to move into the top 10 and pick one of the best defensive players in this draft because you wanted an impact player, you know?
Right.
Good call, Mike.
Pat says Betts will most likely be a rotational player if he even makes the team. James Houston 2.0. Oh, Chad, you had such good takes today.
Hey, but that's out there though. You got to give.
Look, I don't like the comparison to James Houston with it. I haven't seen the guy play yet, and you did caveat that, Chad, with most likely, meaning we don't really know what he's going to be. I mean, I didn't catch a lot of BC Lions games last year. Did you?
But if he makes the team, I consider that a win. Yeah. I mean, if you want to say that he's going to be an impact player, that might be a hard right off the get.
By the way, CBS Sports retracted their report that Matthew Betts signed a futures contract with the Detroit Lions. He did not sign a futures contract. He, in fact, signed a free agent contract. That changes things as far as what the player can do, how he gets paid. So it is kind of a big difference. This is a guy they already have under contract. They're paying him. He's at least going to be on the practice squad.
Well, they hope, or they're going to have wasted their money. So when you sign him he's on the 53 if they sign him.
So Fred said, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Russ.
I guess it's 90 now. Is it back to 90? How many people can you have on a roster right now? You know?
Oh, you 70 something? You mean the 70 number, the training camp number? 71 is the training camp. No, it's 94. I mean, it's huge in training camp. It's like 90. It's in the 90s.
Right.
Fred says that Jeremy read that comparison this morning. Would that be the comparison between James Houston and Matthew Betts? Right, because I'm sure Jeremy's watching a lot of Canadian football.
Hey, you got to keep up on it, right? You got to get your oar in a bunch of different lakes.
Well, like Chad says, most likely be a rotational player. Yeah, if he even makes the active roster, right?
Right.
I mean, sure, he's Defensive Player of the Year in Canada, but that's a big difference in the NFL.
Yeah, I would lower the expectations on him a little bit. That way you can leave yourself surprised because he could be good. But,
right.
I mean, really, if he makes the team, I would consider that a win.
I'm interested to know where Jeremy would get that comparison from. If he came up with that or if that's something that he saw somewhere. The comparison to James, because I've never seen the guy play. I've only seen photographs of him. So if he translates to a James Houston type, where he's a one-trick pony, like Joseph says, Joseph says that Houston is a one-trick pony, bad at run support and his coverage his ass. So if that's the kind of player that he is, I'm intrigued because I have no idea what this guy is like. But we all agree, in Brad we trust, right?
Absolutely. How are you gonna not? How are you gonna not?
And don't forget, folks, follow us on Facebook at Lions Villain Squad. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at Main Event 365. That's MANE at Main Event 365. Because we bring you football content 365 days a year, and the sun god shineth upon you. Thanks, everybody, for being with us today. Don't forget. Oh, you're going to do it? I'm going to sign off then. God bless each and every one of you on Main Event Mike. Peace out.
Yeah, and you know, special thanks right there to Main Event Mike, because I was in a practice. You know, I had to do my thing, had to take care of the music side of it. Hope you guys can make it out for tomorrow's show at the Machine Shop. It's Toolology. This is heavy metal, baby. Let's go do it. If you like heavy metal, then you're gonna love this night. We got a full night of Tool music if you're into the 90s music right there. Faith, family, and football. That's what we preach right here on Football Talk with Russell Wayne. If you use that link in our description to the outreach of NTC Church, I love what Pastor Kevin Galloway is doing out there, and just know that they're out reaching the community and serving the community in the best way right there. And anybody that is giving to that link is helping our outreach in Genesee County in Michigan. We appreciate that. Faith, family, and football. Family and football, baby, that's easy. That's easy. We just hang out. We hang out and we watch some football games with our family. Use football. Use football to spend time with your family. Don't let football use you. Don't be a butthole when they lose. But may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again next time. That'll be a Monday. Football Talk, Russell Wayne.
What's up, y'all? This is Ifeatu Melifonwu, safety for the Detroit Lions. And I just want to take some time out to give a big shout out to Russell Wayne and Main Event Mike from the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. It's a fan page and a podcast. And I just want to say I appreciate the support of me and my team. And I encourage everyone to go check out their podcast and check out their fan page. Go Lions.
It's not fair! They were so happy! It's not gonna be okay!